From here on out, when the market follows our actual analysis, I'm just going to say, shh, control your emotions. So with that being said, let's check out the charts and let's see how much more emotional control we're going to have this next coming week.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag. These private.
What's going on, family? My name is Tay Swift. For those of you who are new, who am I and why do I do this? Of course, I am a stock, futures, options, crypto, penny stock trader. I've been doing this, got my start actually in penny stocks over the last maybe like 10 plus years. I traded penny stocks for about 3 years before I actually went into, I say 3 to 5 because it took me a minute to let them go. But I started the penny stocks. The reason why that really means something is because in the penny stock world, we are trading companies that are about to go bankrupt or looking like they're going bankrupt. So there is no fundamentals. There are, the fundamentals don't matter at all because all of the companies usually are crappy, right? They're $2 stocks, 50-cent stocks, $5 stocks, whatever. But they usually are crappy companies. So the only way you're going to be able to trade those type of stocks is to be really good at technical analysis, which is what I personally do, which is why I'm here for you, right? Now, for me, we use what's called predictive indicators, right? Because you get a lot of people say they're lagging indicators. We use predictive indicators that helps us to see where the market can go based on what it's doing right now, right? So that being said, I'm just here to bring a little information, make sure all of my people who are showing up consistently are getting the right direction or seeing what I see as far as the right direction in the market. And I'd like to give you some alternatives, right? So all of that being said, let's dive into the charts. What are we going to talk about today? Well, I'll go over the S&P. That's usually what we do. But I also want to dive into Eli Lilly. I gave a stock alert out for that. Told you, hey, trade on your own accord. A lot of people saying, hey, you told me to buy X, Y, and Z. I say, yes, but I can't push the button for you, right? And I can't manage the position for you. So I need you to be focused on that alert. I need you to go in and chart it yourself and see where it can go. Because every stock that I've ever given out has two directions. And I know that sounds like, duh, it's either going up or going down. No, it has a path that it has to follow, right? If you don't know those paths, then you might need some more help. And that's okay. That's what I'm here for. So we're going to look at the S&P and see which paths we can take today based on the rules. And then we're going to look at Eli Lilly and we're going to see what paths we can take. And based on what the rules are and what we're going to set in today's charting, that'll let us know where both of these can go. So let's check it out. All right, family. So we're going to jump into these charts. I'm actually going to start with Eli Lilly first, just because this is one of the alerts that I gave. And I really want to dive into this one and give what I see coming. All right. So I'm going to use trend lines today because I like to keep my charts naked, right? If you have to trade with a bunch of stuff on your chart, sometimes that may not be the best way to do things and you kind of get lost. It's hard to keep up with so many indicators, right? So I like to keep it very clean. You'll see my charts usually are very clean. I want to see the gaps. I want to see what looks like what. So for me personally, a lot of times my charts are going to be pretty clean, pretty empty when it comes to charting. All right. So what I am seeing here, looks like we had a little action here, right? Yep. It started to gap up, then gave you here. Looks like we did a little pullback right in here. 5. We should maybe come down, test this gap, right? Should come down, test this gap, maybe pop up, and then we'll come down and try to close this gap. That's gonna be my first wave. That's what I see happening. You look at the RSI. I mean, the RSI is doing exactly what we needed to do. For my people who study, shout out to STB, all of my STB folks who study. You know what that is. Lower lows, higher highs. You already know what's going on, right? So for me, I like this down move coming. It just makes sense for me. I like this area right here to get some love first. Okay. Once we close that gap, we may test it first. So the gap test is at 414. So nice move down. Boom. Could pop. And then, of course, once we finish that one out, there's one back here that actually needs to come back and retrace. Right. So I definitely like that. Closed it, gapped up, retraced it, closed it, and then I'd like to see another retrace. Okay, so that's most definitely what I'm looking for. Probably in the next, I don't know, time frame here. That's this low. I would say depends on the market movement, but could be within the next month or two. Next month or two. But of course, I'm not telling you what expiration dates for my people, my gamblers out there, right? I'm not telling you to do a 2 month expiration date because this thing can consolidate up here. I've seen it before. I mean, it's kind of doing it now. So, a lot of people who took that alert on the class that I gave it, or I gave it probably, it was sometime last week on one of the market watches. So, go back and check it out if you're looking for that, stock alert. It's a good one. All right. For the downside, I mean, we definitely have some coming. Let's see. There we go. All right. So yeah, we definitely have further downside coming. I'm going to take these away. Boom. And I mean, just that right there. I like that. I like that a lot. So for the downside, 312, definitely coming. Could take some time. But 312 is definitely on my radar. So I like this. It looks good for me. Like I said, we will need some time. So let me see. Yeah, so we will need some time to get down there. And the reason why I say that is because I love my trend lines, right? I love my trend lines. Look at that. Right? We are going to need some time. The reason why I say that is because this thing is going nuts. This thing is going nuts. So this immediate trend here is just nuts, right? Look, that started your resistance, right? So it gave you that resistance and then it broke out of that resistance. So your next immediate resistance would be somewhere in here, right? Now, how did I do that? There you go. Support, got in, resistance, held support on this one, and then it got inside of this one and gave you resistance all the way up until it broke it, and now it's giving you resistance here, right? So this just gets into just slight trend following, right? When it comes to the trend lines, once again, there are many ways of doing this, right? Many ways. I have so many indicators, it's ridiculous, but I use mostly, trend lines. I like the RSI. There's a lot of stuff that I can use. So these are some of my favorite. And then of course I like the predictive stuff where I can basically see where it's going based on my I guess you can call it numbers, right? It's based on numbers. All of this stuff is pretty much, it's an equation essentially. So I like the numbers. I'm looking at it and I'm doing my math in the background. There's a way you can plot data, right? And that's what I do. And I won't be doing that on YouTube because I don't want to. First of all, it melts your brain when I get into plotting data, and I don't want to put that on here. So, but I've plotted this data, and yes, this is definitely looking like it's going to give us our move for that gap close based on my predictive indicator. Okay, so or one of my predictive indicators. So that's what I have for Eli Lilly, and then now what we can do is we can go into the ES. Let's see what the overall market is going to do for the day, right? What I'm looking at here is, of course, we got plenty of movement going on, but this area here is what we are fighting right now, right? That is what we are fighting. And it looks like it's been fighting that for, I mean, look at this. It's been fighting it for a minute, right? And I'd even go out on a limb and say this would be the one, right? That has been just fighting it. Now, the fact, remember I told you, the fact that it's been fighting, we need a clean breakout. Now, I do think, let me say this first. I do think this is trying to show us that we're going to have that downside move. The reason why I say that is because this has been long-term support. You see that? Support. We'll go over. Support. When it gets underneath it, it became resistance. So that's letting me know and letting you know that this is a long-time support. So anytime I see a long-time support get broken to the downside, especially with confirmation candles, which is 2 consecutive candles. If we're going down, it needs to be 2 consecutive red candles. Anytime I see 2 consecutive red candles breaking out of a trend like this, I get bearish. Me personally, I'm bearish, my friends. All right. Now, that is not long term. It's just immediate term until we can get down low enough to find some big buyers. I need big buyers. When we can get down and find some big buyers, that's when I'll get bullish, because I do see a bull move coming over the next maybe 6 to 8 months. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But right now, I do not want to go bull. That's just me. I don't want to go bullish right now. I don't like that move. But I do see, or we can see, a move as high as here, which is 42.05. Now, people are going to say, well, Tay, how can you see that? Well, this is the area we've been bouncing in between. So until we get back down there and break that low, this is what we'll continue to do. That's exactly what's going to happen. We'll just continue to bounce in between this until we can figure it out, right? Until the Bears or the Bulls decide which one wants to take over, right? Me personally, once again, I do think the Bulls are going to get clapped out of there until they get lower and then they buy them up. So once again, for me, over the next, I say maybe 3 to 7, let's just say 3 to 8 weeks. For the next 3 to 8 weeks, we could go in this range to the downside, though. It can range down, range down, range down. It does that. We've seen it. Now, my path that I am looking for. So we had this little path in here, right? Gave us kind of like this move here. Boom, boom, boom. Gave us that. And actually, I probably would have stopped that right there. But then it gave us the up move here. And then from there, let me actually do this one over. I want that. So it was that move, because you cannot come below that. So boom, that would have gave us that. And now what I'm seeing now is an A, B, C. Right now, that could be the end of that. And now it wants to go up and tap that 4,200 or as high as 42. So what I could personally see is one up, little pullback, just slightly, right? Little pullback, and then a bang. And we can have one hell of a Friday. One hell of a Friday. Good God. That's what I see happening. We will see. I don't know. We will see. But that is my path that I am looking for. Once again, we'll see. We'll see. But what I will say, or what I can say is, based on what I'm seeing with these, let me move this out of the way. Right? I'm going to delete that. Based on what I'm seeing, we are in a bullish trend, short term or near term, right? So near term, I do see a bullish trend. I like it. So I will be entering probably any pullbacks for the most part. So you give me a pullback, I will be entering. But super, super important. Let me get rid of this one. Super, super important. But we need to see this broken, right? This is a long term. I showed you this probably yesterday. This has been long term support and resistance line. Look at that. Resistance fell hard. Resistance fell hard. Got up here, held it. Still resistance, but it got up, stayed above it. When you get above resistance, it becomes support, 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 support. Got below it, held resistance, got back above, support, support, support. Got below it. Look at that, resistance, resistance. And you see it's playing with it, right? Once it got back down, once again, resistance, 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 got above it. So once again, this line is what's being played. I'm telling you, it's been played with like crazy. Resistance, 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 resistance. All of this resistance up here. This is what I'm going to be looking for to break. If I can't get a break of it, I'm definitely going down to the downside, right? But if we break this one line, I will be a big fan of the bull move, right? We break, hold it. Yeah, we're getting ready to take off. That's what I personally see. All right. So once again, I like that move. I do think it's going to be a solid move. As a matter of fact, I would like it to, maybe on this 4 hour, that could be something that we're dealing with. It did give us this little pullback, but we could, we could come out of here. So I like it. I like it to the bull side. I'm going to be looking for, some of this area to hold, right? Some of this area to hold. I don't know if we're going to get above 42.43, but I would like us to get in here and come start testing some of these areas, some of these highs. All right, so these are big highs, big highs. So if we can break this, yes, I do think we will go up and test some of those 40, probably as high as 42.43, right? Probably will get smacked down because we got sellers up there. But that is what I am seeing. That is what I like. That is one path, right? As long as the rules are followed and everything looks good, that path will play out perfectly, right? If not, there's another path that we need to pay attention to, right? So if that happens, this looks like boom, boom, boom. So if that is the case, then this will be giving us a bounce, right? Holding this area, as long as we don't pass this area, right? Because this is that long term, this white line is that long term resistance. As long as we don't pass that resistance area, right? I would like to see a move back down this way. Now, that's gonna be hard to do. I won't lie, because you're gonna have to pull those damn EMAs. Our direction currently is bullish on the daily, 4 hour. Shit, I even think it's on the weekly. So, not to say it can't happen. We've seen it before, but there's gonna be a lot of action that needs to be had or taken to pull a whole trend that's holding. There's a trend that's being held on about 4, 5, maybe even 6 different time frames, right? If you're gonna reverse a trend on 6 different time frames, we need some action. It needs to be a big, actionable move coming, right? So once again, I don't know if that's gonna happen, because that's a lot that needs to happen. But if one bad news outlet can happen, or one bad catalyst, one really bad catalyst can give us that move. So once again, it's not impossible. We need to know the rules. We need to know when our first move was wrong, so that we can get out, have that stop loss, and then get in to the actual move where we're going, right? That's how this thing works. So once again, this has been another great STB. Let me look at you. Hold on. This has been another great STB Market Watch. I hope you enjoyed. Today is Friday, of course, so this will be our last STB Market Watch for this week. So that being said, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next week. Let's get this money.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag. These products